Okay, so I'm not feeling so good today, but there were a couple of things. I'm gonna try to keep this short because I can barely talk. I have a sore throat, but there are a couple of things that within those 9 years that I was with my partner that I kind of like didn't include because there's so much that happens in 9 years before jumping to that 9 year marriage mark. Um, some of the things that transpire like early on, besides the sensuality that was missing, or when it came time to be sensual, um, there would be like this not necessarily anxiety in him, but just like this sense of not calm and sense of not being present 100%. So some of the things I would say is like, "What's wrong?" And I'd always be like, "What's wrong? Something wrong?" And he'd always say, "Nothing." Like, "Nothing's wrong. No, why?" Or maybe he wouldn't even say why. That's I don't think he would say why. He would just be like, "Nothing." Um, and then I would tell him to calm down. You gotta calm down. And he would take big breaths, and these big breaths would make it seem as if he was even more less calm. And so that made things hard. There was things that were revealed, um, how he had been taken advantage of by his own family, that was unconscionable to me. That made me very upset and hard to deal with, because these were issues that were, because they transpired and were basically unresolvable. And he still wanted to, despite horribleness, this horribleness perpetrated on him, he'd still want to associate with his family. Um, so it was like the abused going back to the abusers. Um, I'd also like to say that the way that my relationship has been is I'm kind of exempt from many of the ways people fall into a relationship with a borderline, because I did have a relationship when I was very young with him, and then we did break up, and some of the uh, relationship criteria for getting back together, um, we exempted ourselves from, like a true courtship, or getting to know you process, and getting back together. There were things that happened that anybody who would be new to a relationship with somebody would probably steer clear of, and or end. But I had this idea of having had known my partner when we were kids, and having that as kind of like a foundation and basis of a trust. Um, Even though I did remember what that there was a reason why we did break up, even though like at the time when we were kids I couldn't really put my finger on it. But again, it was that something missing, something was off or wrong. So getting back together 6 years after our original relationship, I thought, okay, we're older now. We've experienced more. We've had more life experiences. Maybe these things are now gone. Um, Maybe they won't show up, or maybe they're not there. Maybe things are different. And for like a little bit of time, I didn't really see these elements, except for that after him having leaving, after he had left the military, he did not set himself up in life very well at all. His idea was to come back. He began living in his parents' basement, and his idea was to be a student with the minimal credits necessary to be considered a student. I think it was full-time student, but like it was like the minimal credits. I think it was like 10 to 12 credits, which when you are on a 4-year path in college, you have to do way more than 10 to 12 credits a semester. So he was doing 10 to 12 credits while I was working my ass off. He worked when he could, So like I said in the other video, I was floating him a lot. Then we had other issues. I was guiding him into what he should be doing in college, like stop taking these chemistry classes. You're failing them. You hate the teacher. You can't understand the teacher. The teacher was foreign with an extremely thick accent. So was trying to guide him. Red flag enablement, right? I was trying to guide him at that point into music, which he excelled at and was easy for him. And I would try to tell him, this is pep talk time. The people in your chemistry class that excel at chemistry, if they went to your music class, they'd probably be failing. Whereas you, who are easy at it, don't have those issues because you're wonted to that. You have to listen to that. I would tell him all kinds of things like that. So that's on top of his road rage and his constant distractions, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to cater to this, I got to cater to that, I got to do and there was never like a presentness that he would feel calm and present with me in front of me. He'd always like, even to the other day, it's kind of like always been the same. I have some time, I sit nearby him, and oh, let's look at this, let's look at that, let's do this and let's do that, or let's watch a movie, let's play some music, let's do this, let's do that. Not ever that any sort of steps that are necessary to actually have two people like be drawn like magnets to one another. And then that doesn't ever happen. I'm trying to think of anything else that within 9 years, probably I never ignored anything. It would be a constant daily struggle, and I would bring it up the issue all the time. Like, we still have to deal with this. We still have to deal with this intimacy issue. We still have to deal with it. It's not going away, So even when it wasn't going away, it still wouldn't go away, and then we go on with our lives. Like, if you can't deal with something right then, go do the dishes, and you want to do this, you want to do that. It's just this tactic of non-resolve. And let's do this, let's do that. Have the good times together. Then we have to go to work. We have to procure work. We have to do. So it's constantly a distraction. So those are also red flags. And just to speak to another aspect that I'm constantly watching videos. I'm constantly reading about this issue. And one of the things that I came across like just yesterday or 2 days ago, that we tell ourselves how to think, and we go by our thoughts and not our feelings. So in this particular relationship, I would say I went by my thoughts and not my feelings. Like, I knew something was like really off. Like when I gave him that choice, like, well, I have this new apartment. If you want to, it's this is really not working out. So you can live with me if you want to, or but it's not working out. And he basically said, you could have me if you want me. And it was just like, a lot of it works on, not that I had pity for him, but he operated from a pity place. So if it's the only place he's operating from is pity, that's my only choice. There are no choices. Yeah. So before that actually happened, where I've said that this is not working out, like even earlier on than that, getting back to how I went with what I thought, and as opposed to what I was feeling, because the thing is, I had told myself, once I make the decision to be with this person, the second time around, I'm not going to leave him. And that was something I told myself. So it's a thought that I put in my head that I'm going to live up to, regardless of what I feel. Obviously, it was regardless of how I felt and what I feel. Because there were things that happened that transpired that were so horrible that I would be like, no, I'm gonna stick by this person. So that was canceling out my feelings, basically. My own doing. A lot of being in a relationship with non-BPD, a non-BPD being with a BPD is, and this is way before I actually knew this diagnosis. Okay, so this is not even, this is just, I'm in like some fucked up relationship. That's my understanding, is that there's love, there's care. That was my understanding for many years. There's love, there's care, and there's commitment. But man, is this fucked up. We can't overcome certain things. We can't seem to get over certain things that have been talked about, that do come up, that that are serious. It's almost as if he wasn't caring in many aspects, and 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 what did I just say? He was caring in many aspects, and didn't seem like he wasn't caring at all in the most important aspects. How many? It was 11 minutes. I'll probably leave it at that. I was gonna give a little anecdote of something of the behavior of somebody who is a borderline, and how they cling to on the non-borderline. Not only cling, but I mean, these feelings are real. The love is real. Um, the and the and all the elements that are in the relationship are real. Okay, so don't say, oh, this is fake. This is not. No, all the elements are real. So I came up with this analogy the other day. It's like when somebody, and this will be the last thing for now. If you own like a cheese shop, right? And you have a purveyor come in, and they're demonstrating their cheeses for you to buy, to sell in their shop for you. And they say, okay, here's some cheese, here's some grapes. And you're like, cheese is good. These grapes are really good. Yeah, this is great. Listen, I want to put an order in for grapes, and I'll have some of the goat cheese, the Gouda, the Havarti, the Laughing Cow Swiss. You sell that too, right? I'll take it from you. Cheddar. And so they come next week, and they bring all the cheeses, but they don't have the grapes. And they say, and you say to them, I was going to get the grapes too. They were really good. I really like them. Oh, yeah. I forgot, they say. I forgot. I'll bring them next week. They come again with the next shipment because you sold out. And they present the cheeses again, but not the grapes. And you say to them, well, what about the grapes? Oh, that's right. You like the grapes. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'll give them the next week. And the weeks go by, and there's still no grapes. And you're like, well, you did give me grapes when we first when you first came to me, and I got the cheese from you, and I wanted the grapes. Oh, did I give you grapes? They say, and you say, yeah, you had grapes. You gave me grapes. And what kind were they? Well, I don't know, the kind you gave me. I like them. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll see what I could do about it. And then they go off, and you're like, I really should get a different cheese guy. This person is just not doing it. I mean, I really like the grapes and cheese that they're giving, and the cheese is really freaking good. But I want the grapes too. So I could probably riff on that a little bit more, but that's kind of like how it is with the offerings of someone that you care deeply for. They will come up with excuses. Like the next week they can say, I don't know if I really gave you grapes. Let me see. And you say, well, I'm going to prove to you that you gave me grapes. I have a surveillance camera here. I'm going to look it up. And you show them that they brought the grapes, and then we're like, well, wait a minute. I didn't pull out those grapes. They were already in front of you. Where did they come from? I mean, like, it could be shit like that. You could get like So ridiculous. And that's the dance. That's the cycle that you don't want to be in. Um, but that's that. So before I move on to some other things, I'm gonna leave it at that because I needed to talk about the idea of not saying what's wrong, finding myself saying very early on, what's wrong, because something was wrong, but nothing. The answer would be nothing, or you calm down, or stuff like that. That's not even dealing with the rage or the anger. That would be for more calm times. So hopefully I'll be feeling better next time I do one of these, and I'll talk to you later.